Hi, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another video. This time I'm doing a buffing job on my 900 turbo. So as you can see, I've masked off all the areas of trim, door handles, badges, lights, mirrors, windows, wipers, washer jets, headlamps and grille, everything. It may seem a bit extreme, but it's taken some time to do it. But it's a lot easier than trying to get polish and wax off the areas you don't want to get it on. So that's why I've gone down this route of doing this. So you can't really see it on camera, but the paint has gone really dull. I did buff it and polish it last year in March, and it came up really well. A lot of the paint is original on this, with the mileage being so high. It's not done too bad really. It does go off fairly quickly though. After you've buffed it, probably about 3 months or so, it starts going dull again. It's not a base coat on lacquer, it's a solid colour, so when it does go off and you rub it, you get residue of black on your finger as the paint oxidises. So the original paint on this is the roof, top half of the quarter panels, that passenger door's original paint, that wing's original paint. Tailgate has a temporary paint job on it at the moment until I get a proper body shop to get it painted properly. As a temporary measure, it's just had a coat of paint chucked on it by myself. The quarter here is original on the top half and at the front there. Door's original paint and this wing's original paint. The bonnet I had done in 2017, repainted, so that paint's not that old. It was done in a solid colour. Again, the bonnet is not base coat with lacquer, it's a solid finish. So it does go off slightly, not as bad as the original paint, but still needs doing nonetheless. Right, the products I'm going to be using are G3 paint renovator. So wax it with ultra deep shine by Autoglim. I'm going to spray the polishing sponge, polishing pad there. This is a mid density one for cutting back, but not too harsh. There's 3 grades. The red one's the hardest, the grey one is the softest. You can apply wax to that apparently. And I've got some buffing mitts which I've never used before on a buffer, even though I've been using buffers on cars for well over 20 years. I've never actually had a go at using a mitt that goes over it, so I'm going to try that today. I'm going to keep the pad damp by spraying it with this sprayer. It's got a variable nozzle on it. Get it to work, which a lot of people will probably disagree with. Probably disagree with the way I'm going about renovating the paint, but this is how I've always done it, and I've never had any issues with it. So the final coat, I shall put some Autoglim extra gloss protection on, which apparently stops the wax washing off as quickly after it's been waxed. So I'll give that a go. I don't think I've tried this yet, so it says to just apply it after you've waxed it, but not to get it in any plastics or glass, which is a good job. I've covered all this lot up then. I didn't do a video of masking it up because, you know, there's nothing to show really. I mean, it didn't take a rocket scientist or brain surgeon to mask a car up. It's just a case of being patient, being quite intricate with detailing of it. I'm not bothered doing the wheels because, you know, any wax gets on there, I'll just give it a quick wipe off. I won't be using tyre shine either. I don't like tyre shine because it attracts the dust, and your wheels end up looking grubby after you've done a couple of miles, so I'm not going to bother doing that. So get on to the first stage. Okay, so that's the bonnet and the roof done, which are the two largest panels. I'm not applying much pressure, you just let the weight of the buffer just ride along and gently polish the paint up. So you don't have to apply any pressure or anything like that, otherwise you end up scoring the paint. Okay, time to do the sides now. Right, I'm just going to use some polishing stocking, which is 100% cotton, because I don't like using microfiber cloths, synthetic fibres. I prefer to use cotton, I always have done. Traffic to go by. So, I'm just going to go over it lightly with this to get rid of any thick areas of G3 before I buff it off with the actual buffing machine. As you can see from the cloth, this black is like the oxidised paint that's stuck to it that the G3's brought off, sort of like a top layer. So this car was perfectly clean before I attempted to do any of this, but I didn't clay bar it. It doesn't warrant the clay bar because the paint isn't in that good enough condition to bother with the clay bar, so it's just a case of waxing it and putting a protective layer on top. So I'm going to put the buffing cotton stocking on top of the machine, and I'm going to finish taking off the rest of the G3. Right, on with the cotton cloth. I've already done this quarter. Film it. It's coming off really well, there's nothing left on there, which is fantastic. It's time to apply the ultra deep shine Ultra Glim after this. Right, I'm going to continue doing this by hand. I'm not going to film it because there really is no point in doing it, because it's basically just polishing the cutting compound off. If you look at that though, that shine is getting there pretty good. There's no swirl marks on it or anything because I only had it on a low speed and I used a bit of water to keep the temperature down, so it hasn't put any marks on the paint. So I'm pretty happy with that so far. Oh, not as long as it used to be. It's quite exhausting doing hand polishing. Right, okay, so I've taken all the G3 off the bodywork, and if you look, it does look pretty shiny. Not bad at all. This door is going to be replaced because it is rotten at the bottom. There's a couple of rust marks on it there, and underneath on the inside it's all rotted away, so that door's going to be replaced, so I'm not bothered about that. This wing needs a repair on it, so that's just masking up a bit of rust there, but the original paint is there and it's come up pretty well. You can see my reflection in the mirror. Oh god, the bonnet. The bonnet, obviously the paint's not that old, but it's come up really well. The roof, it's come up absolutely fantastic. There are a few scratches on the roof where the previous owner had a roof rack on it, because this was basically used as a van before I had it, for carting around stone and wood. So it is a workhorse, so it does have some work related injuries on the paintwork. So I'm going to have a bit of a breather now, and then it's time to put on the ultra deep shine by hand. Okay, for the next stage, we're going to be applying the Autoglym Ultra Deep Shine, which is especially good for dark paintwork, so you don't get any swirls or anything like that. So I'm basically just going to be lathering this stuff on by hand. Put loads on a cloth there. There's the cap so I don't knock this over. And start applying this, let it dry and then buff it off. Right, okay, I've just tried the machine to remove this polish and it isn't working, so I'm just going to use my hands, like I always have done. That's come off really easy actually, and the finish, can't tell that much because it's a black car, but it is absolutely superb. I am happy with that. God, this road is noisy. Right, so I'm going to continue with the rest of the car. Bonnet, passenger side and the roof. And then I'm going to apply the protectant and see if that makes a difference to how long the shine lasts for. Okay, so final stage. I've buffed off all the ultra deep shine and it does look absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to try this, which I've not tried before, which is extra gloss protection, which it says you just apply it, wait half an hour, buff it off with a cloth, and then it will protect the paintwork and the wax from being washed off each time you wash the vehicle. So I've not used it before, I'm going to give it a go this time. Right, it's finally finished. Walk around, see what it looks like. So hard to get a gauge on black paint, the shadows and stuff, but it's turned out pretty well. Very happy with it. Dandelion fluff already going on it.